If you're overweight and you would like to lose weight, I have a very important tip for you. Do not wait until you have lost your excess weight to do all the things that you want to do. Instead, do them now. When I was in the obese range, I had a lot of things that I was dreaming of doing, but I wasn't doing them because I thought I couldn't do them yet, or I would have been self-conscious doing them. I was waiting to be thinner in order to do them. Until the day I realized that I was totally holding myself back that way. I was always saying, when I'm lean I will do this, when I'm lean I will do that, when I'm lean, when I'm lean. And in the meantime I wasn't doing any of these things. And then one day I realized, okay, every action I take, every choice I make in life carries a certain energy. And that is the energy that I put out into the universe. And that is the energy I get back from life. So every time I say, when I'm lean I will do this, and I'm not doing it, I'm basically declaring to myself that I am not lean. And if you spend your whole days declaring over and over again that you are not lean, then you will be not lean. And that's when I realized that I was totally holding myself back, that I kept just declaring to the universe over and over again, I'm not lean, because if I were I would be doing this, but I'm not doing it, so I'm not lean. I'm not lean. Well, it's really difficult to lose weight if you keep telling yourself that you're not lean. So what I did, I took a pen and paper and I wrote down all those dreams I had, all those things I wanted to do when I'm lean. And I wrote it all down, and then I looked at it and I started doing these things right now while still being overweight. Most of the things you want to do when you're lean are things you can already do now. You might feel self-conscious about it if you're overweight. I don't know if it's something like going to the swimming pool or something, but you can do it. You're able to do it. For example, I wanted to dance tango. It was a dream of mine. And I thought, I cannot dance tango as long as I'm obese. But actually that's not true. I was perfectly able to dance tango, and I did, and I went to take tango lessons and I was perfectly able to do it. There might be a small percentage of things that you really cannot physically do because of your overweight. For example, I was dreaming of climbing trees and I really couldn't. I was too heavy. I really could not physically climb trees. But even if you cannot do the full version of your dream, there is always a mini version of it that you can do. For example, instead of climbing trees, I went to do some indoor rock climbing. Indoor because when you climb in those places, there are always some routes that are easy for super beginners. And then I would just climb those. And the people I was climbing with did some good progress. And I never did because I was just really too heavy. But I did manage to climb those easy ones. And every time I arrived at the top and touched the ceiling, I was like, yay! I was able to do it. So look at your dreams and be honest. Most of them you can already do. It might feel awkward, it might hurt your pride, you might feel self-conscious, but you can do it. And even though you cannot do it, there is always a mini version of them that you can do. So think about that. One interesting thing I noticed when I started doing all these things that I wanted to do when I'm lean is that, okay, some were just harmless and didn't change my life much, but some of them were really significant steps in my development. And I was very scared of taking those steps. And I was not scared because I was overweight. The overweight was a convenient excuse. I was scared of doing it. Really, really scared. And then I realized that I had been hiding behind my overweight the whole time. You know, it's really convenient. Oh, I will do that when I'm lean, but I'm not lean, so I cannot do it. And of course, losing weight never happens, and then you conveniently avoid doing it. I was really scared, for example, of dancing tango. Might seem silly, but I was really, really scared of it. And learning to dance tango was one of the most significant steps I took in my life. I don't want to go into the details now, but it really changed my life in so many ways. It affected my relationships, my sexuality, my intuitive development, surprisingly, very much so. It was very, very helpful. Maybe I'll make another video about how dancing tango helped me with my intuition. It really, really helped me, and it made a very big difference in my life. And I was terrified of it. I was terrified of having to step into my feminine energy, which I had to do when I learned to dance tango. I was terrified of it in so many ways. And my overweight had just been an excuse. So go through your list, and at first glance you might not be able to tell which ones are harmless and which ones are really important. So my advice is just do them all. And do not let your overweight be an excuse. Do not. Really, be brave, face your fear, and do it anyway. And you know what happened when I started doing all these things? I started losing weight. I actually did. I don't know if it's because I was happier and more fulfilled, and I didn't rely so much on food to make myself feel good anymore. Or maybe I was so happy that it became easier to love myself and take good care of myself. I don't know. Or it's just the energetic aspect of not declaring constantly anymore that I am not lean by not taking those actions. You know, by taking those actions and doing these things, I was basically declaring that I am lean because I'm doing these things. And if you keep declaring that you're lean, well, you become lean. It always has to start with your actions, and then your physical body will follow. But it has to start with your actions, with what you declare in your actions, the energy that you put out. And I was putting out the energy of being lean and being happy and doing all these things, and I started slowly but gradually losing weight. It's really interesting because for years I have been holding back on doing these things, thinking that first I have to lose weight and then I will do them. And then when I did it backwards and started doing them, that's oddly when I lost weight. And at that point, losing weight didn't even mean that much to me anymore, because the whole time I had been holding myself back, waiting to lose weight, just always waiting. So losing weight became extremely important to me. But when I ignored the weight issue and just started doing all these fun things, I became so much happier. And I became a happier person who didn't care that much anymore if she is thin or not. And oddly, that's when I stopped caring so much and being so attached to it that I eventually lost weight. I mean, if your whole happiness depends on losing weight, then of course you're going to be emotionally very attached to that outcome. But if your happiness doesn't depend on your weight anymore and you're already doing all the fun stuff you want to do, then you can detach much more easily. When I was asked to talk about this topic in a video, my first reaction was like, oh no, I should wait until my weight loss transformation is complete before I talk about it. And then I realized that's the same pattern. When I'm lean, I will talk about my weight loss. And now that I think about it, I can see the same pattern in at least 2 or 3 other things in my life where I have been waiting to be lean and holding myself back. And not surprisingly, lately I have not been losing any more weight. I have been stuck at my current weight. And I think that's not a coincidence. So apparently it's not enough to do this exercise once, you have to do it regularly. I recommend you do it maybe every 6 months or so. As soon as I'm done recording this video, I will go sit down with a pen and paper and make a new list of when I'm lean, I will do this and that. And then I will go through these things and do them all. So grab a pen and paper, make a list of all those things you want to do when you're lean. And don't forget to include habits, not just things you want to do or dreams that you have, but also daily habits that you would do differently if you were lean. And make this list and then face your fears and do these things. Do them now. And if you physically cannot do them, find a mini version of them that you can do and do that. Stop putting your whole life on hold just because you're overweight. Choose to be happy now. Stop waiting. You might think that your overweight is the reason why you're not doing these things, but it's probably not. It's probably just an excuse because you're really afraid of doing these things. Stop hiding behind your overweight. Do all the fun stuff now. Stop waiting.